Vehemence podcast. It's your host, Deasia, and today I have a very special guest on here today to talk about his basketball career and what he does. So first, I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell you guys a little bit about him.
Hey everybody, thanks for having me. My name is Marcus Foster. I'm from Wichita Falls, Texas. Currently playing in Vilnius, Lithuania. This is my sixth season playing professional basketball. I went to college at Kansas State for 2 years and then transferred to Creighton. Um, just been playing basketball ever since I was little. So it's a joy to be able to play basketball for a living out here in all these different countries I've been in so far.
Okay. So my first question is, when can you vividly remember yourself actually picking up a basketball? At what age?
It's crazy. I remember exactly. I think I was like 3 years old, and my dad taught me how to shoot the right way on a regular goal. And then ever since then, I just remember always having a ball in my hands. I remember my mom and dad used to tell me when I was a kid I would always gravitate towards basketballs. And so it just, ever since I was a kid, I've always just had a basketball in my hand.
Okay. So in like elementary school to like high school, when did you learn that you could be really good?
I mean, I guess I really didn't understand how good I could be until I got to high school. But just from a young age, I was always better than a lot of people playing. At 5 years old, I was the only one that was dribbling without traveling. Taking the ball, going coast to coast, doing layups, and as a kid, I never realized how good I was until I started playing people that were better than me or just as good as me, and I was playing the same on that level. So I think that's when it started realizing how good I could be.
So in high school, what are some things that you were able to accomplish in your high school career?
So I think the biggest thing for me was I wanted to be a freshman on varsity. Usually with the coach I had, that usually doesn't happen. I mean, he usually has freshmen on varsity, but they don't play. And they do a lot of with time playing time with the JV or freshman team. But with me, I had a big role on the team. I played a lot, and the older guys kind of gravitated to me and understood that I was a good player and they wanted me on the team. I do remember that year I shot 64% from the 3 pointer. I think I was like 70 for 120, something like that. I made second team all district, and then the rest of my high school I made first team all district. My last 2 years I was I think second or third team all state. And then my last year I was parade all American.
Okay, All American.
Yeah.
So with that being All American, so many accolades, everybody's recruitment process is very different. How was your recruitment process into college?
I remember it kind of like picked up kind of fast. Like after my freshman year playing so much and my team was pretty good, a lot of teams were watching me and I remember I got my first looks from Texas A&M and California and SMU. And so I knew, that was kind of a big accomplishment for me and they're like pretty serious interest. And then, going into AAU my first summer, I had a great summer for my first time ever really playing AAU at that level. And then it started picking up fast after that. I had college coaches come and watch me practice all the time. A lot of phone calls I was taking. I was getting a lot of mail. It was kind of getting overwhelming at some point because so many schools you're talking to all these different coaches. But for me, from where I'm from, that doesn't usually happen to people where I'm from. So, I took it as a blessing, and it was just an honor for me to be able to have so many coaches that were interested.
So then after that, what made you decide to go to Kansas State instead of staying home?
For me, it was I always wanted to play in the Big 12, being from Texas, and so I had a lot of schools, Big East. I had some schools in the Pac-12. California wanted me to come, but it just made more sense for me to go to the Big 12 and have a chance for my parents to be able to drive to almost all the games and be able to watch me play. And I also had a good connection with the assistant coach, Alvin Brooks, that recruited me. So it made a lot of sense for me to go there.
So then after that, your freshman year, walk me through your experiences of being a freshman, like your first college practice. How was that?
Oh, my first college practice was horrible. I was tired. My legs were hurting for like 2 weeks straight. So it instilled in me early that, this is going to be tough and it's not going to be easy. And, I didn't have a good first 2 weeks. I didn't play to the best. I was so tired. I could barely get through practice. So I just remember that whole summer, I just remember being so scared that, I'm not going to play. I mean, as a freshman, most of the time you're usually not going to play, but, that's something I want to do as a freshman, at least be able to get a couple minutes in the game. So I was in the gym almost every night, putting up shots, making sure I was in shape, putting in extra work in the weight room. And, it ended up paying off. I ended up becoming a starter my freshman year. And, at that time, coming in, I was a 3-star recruit, and I finished the year as a top 5 freshman in America. So, a lot of people didn't expect that from me. So it was pretty exciting for me and my family to be acknowledged like that.
So your freshman year, what game did you play against somebody that it was like your welcome to college moment? Like, did somebody hit you with a screen? Did somebody hit you with a good move? Like, what was that moment for you?
I mean, I would definitely say my welcome college was probably my first week. Because we had a guy named Thomas Gibson. He's like 6'9", 280 pounds, and he's like setting these hard screens. I can't get over the screens. The coaches is yelling at me because I can't get over the screens. And then he's hard hedging, and he's actually getting out there hard hedging and trapping me, stealing the ball out my hand. So I think that's the moment when I really realized that, I'm at a higher level than I played at. And then a guy I played against, his name was DeAndre Kane. He played for Iowa State. That was like a guy that always, he put up 20, 25 every time I guarded him just because, he was so good. He's one of the best scorers at the time in college. And, I think that's when I realized how much better defensively I have to become.
Okay. So with you being at such a high your freshman year, with you learning some things early and picking up on them early, your sophomore year, how were you able to apply those things that you learned in your freshman year to make your sophomore year even better?
For me, the big thing about my freshman year was I was a catch and shoot, come off the screen, and shoot person. That was the main thing I was good at. I could put it on the ground, one or two dribbles, but that wasn't something I was good at. And I just wanted to be a better coming off pick and rolls, adding more isolation to my game, um, being able to go left more because a lot of teams were just forcing me to go left, and I was struggling and being able to pass out of it going left. So I think that's something I worked on coming into it, just being more versatile, not being one dimensional, and letting teams take me out of scoring.
Okay. So your sophomore year, you're able to do that. What led you to transfer?
For me, it was I had a little off the court issues. I wasn't as focused as I was my freshman year. Being in college, having fun. Going out on weekends. It just kind of got too out of hand, and it just came to a point where it was better for me and the school to, just part ways and separate, and so I can go to a new school and kind of get back to the person that I was. Also, too, it's just I wasn't in the gym working as hard as I was before because I just came off of a great year. People were talking about he's going to go to the NBA this year. So it just kind of all went to my head. And, I didn't work as hard or be at home as much or be studying as much as I did the year before.
Okay. So with that, I want to ask. So what point did you like realize yourself? Because that takes awareness to be able to be like, I'm not working as hard. What point did you realize that and was like, okay, I need to do something different so I can be better.
I mean, it kind of was halfway through the end, well, almost towards the end of the year, I would say. just because you just start to feel it. Like I wasn't playing as much as I was my freshman years. Guys are being able to guard me more than they were before, and you can kind of just tell like, I was there for the wrong reasons. I was more looking forward to the weekends than, going to class or going to practice. So it just, made sense, coming in to the end after we lost. It just, after sitting down thinking about it, made sense that I needed to change, have a change of scenery, and go to a place where I could be more focused and, lock in on the academic side and basketball side.
So, when you transferred, you're in your junior year. How was that experience and how did you refocus yourself?
It was a completely different experience for me, going from, like a public school like Kansas State to a private Catholic school, and being one of the top schools in the Midwest in academics. It also made me have to change focus on, my academics because, at Kansas State, it was more, I was taking easier classes. It was a lot more easier. I had tutors helping me, but more at Creighton, I had to do everything on my own. If I needed help, they would help me as little as much as they can, and the rest was all on my own. And being there, it put me in the mindset of, there's nothing to do but, do your studies, and then, you're above the practice facility where we're studying at, so you might as well just go downstairs after you study, get some shots up or get some treatment or something there and make sure you're ready. So, and it gave me a whole year to, get back and be refocused and, try to get my career back where I wanted it to.
So, with that, you transferred from K State to Creighton. What were some of the differences in the style of play? Did you feel at that point in time that Creighton and K State had a similar style of play? Or, like, how was it for you to adjust to a new system?
It was completely different styles because at K State we were more half court, use the shot clock. At K State we're going to score around 55 points a game, and at Creighton we're gonna get 70 to 80 points a game, and we're playing a lot faster. At Creighton we would shoot the ball. He wants us to shoot in the first 10 seconds and shoot many threes. We were, as a team at Kansas State, we didn't shoot as many threes as we shoot at Creighton, but I think for me that was always my style of play. Anyway, that's how I played in high school, more fast paced. So when I went to Kansas State, it was an adjustment for me to play at a slower pace, but I ended up figuring it out and it ended up working for me both ways, which, that also carries over to my professional career because, I've played in both styles. So, it helps me when I switch and go to different teams.
Okay, okay. So then after your junior year, are you satisfied with how you're able to refocus or do you feel like you need to push more?
I was very satisfied with it, but there's always, I feel like, room for improvement. I think towards the end of the season, I wasn't playing as strong as I was at the beginning of the year just because, fatigue, long season, my body's tired. So going into that summer after my junior year, I wanted to make sure that, I was going to be able to last the whole season and not get tired. So I was running a mile almost every day, getting my legs tired and then going to shoot, making sure I have those legs. But, as besides just refocusing and getting everything back together like I wanted to, I was able to accomplish that.
So now after that, your junior year, so now you're going into your senior year. What are some goals that you have for yourself with it being like your last year and what did you want to accomplish?
The main thing I wanted to accomplish was I wanted us to go to the Sweet 16. That was like my main team goal I wanted. Individually, I wanted to be all conference first team, unanimous, and I wanted to be an All American. So, luckily individually I got to accomplish those two things, and those are probably some of my favorite accomplishments I've had as a basketball player.
So you guys went to the Sweet 16.
No, we didn't make it Sweet 16.
Oh,
Individually, I got to accomplish my goals, but as
oh,
far as the team, yeah, team wise, we didn't make it.
I was gonna say, did you ever at any point in college make it to the tournament?
Yeah, so luckily, three out of the 4 years I played, I got to make it to the tournament. 1 year at Kansas State, and 2 years at Creighton.
So how was selection Sunday for you? Was it different each time or did it feel the same each time?
I would say each time they were different. My first year it was, my first selection Sunday, so it's like, you watch this all the time, so it's like exciting to be a part of it. And I remember we ended up getting having to play Kentucky, so it was like, it's a big team. John Calipari, all the NBA scouts are going to be there watching the Kentucky guys, so it's like a good game to look forward to. My second year at Creighton, that was one was pretty exciting too because we had a team that could have went pretty far. We just fell short because we had some injuries and the team we played just they just got hot on that game, and that's just how it goes. If you play your best game, you're gonna win. The last one, my senior year, was the most interesting one because, when they did selection Sunday, we end up having to play Kansas State. So it's like a full circle moment to,
Yeah.
now my last year, I'm end up playing the team that I transferred from. So that was very interesting. That was probably one of my favorite ones.
Okay, so now I want to kind of go back. So you say you played
hmm
against Kentucky. Who was on that Kentucky team?
On that Kentucky team was the Harrison twins, Julius Randle, um, James Young, Willie Cauley Stein. I can't think of who else was on that team, but I know those were the main guys on that team that ended up going to the NBA. So it was a pretty stacked team. I think they ended up I want to say they went to the Final Four that year or they went to the Elite Eight. So yeah,
So being a freshman going into that game, were you nervous or were you just ready to compete?
it's a little bit of both. Like you're nervous because you're playing your first tournament. You always dreamed of playing in tournament. You're playing against Kentucky, so millions of people are going to be watching because it's Kentucky. Then you got also NBA scouts are there. But then it's like that excitement of, now you're here, you're playing on this stage. So it's like as soon as that ball went up, I was ready to go. My team didn't win, but we played really well. And I think it slipped away towards the end. I think we ended up losing by like 8 or 11 points, but it was still a good game.
Okay, okay. So now after like going back to your senior year, um your experience how was your experience in your senior year and like what made you be like, okay, I'm gonna play professional or enter yourself in a draft? Like what process did that was that?
I mean, for me, it was that time anyway. That was my fifth year, so it was my last season of college with eligibility left. So it was more of, the season before my junior year, I had a chance to enter the draft. But I think for me, a lot of people dream about playing in the NBA, but my dream was always to play in college and play in the NCAA tournament because, like I was saying, a kid like me from where I'm from, you usually don't get those opportunities to play Division I basketball. So I was more excited about being a college basketball player. So when that opportunity arose where, I have one final year to play college, it was a no-brainer for me. But it was a pretty good process for me going from college to transferring into, the pre-draft, doing all the pre-draft workouts. I think I ended up doing 17 NBA workouts for teams. Draft night was a cool experience. I didn't get drafted, but I got two phone calls that are like, hey, watch the TV, you might get picked right here. And negotiating with teams like, hey, this team wants you to come play in summer league. So, I think it's crazy how a kid like me from Wichita Falls get to experience, stuff like that.
Okay, okay. So now I have a question. When you transferred, you had to sit out a year. So how do you feel about the portal now that you're no longer in college and people can transfer and they don't have to sit out?
hmm It's
How do you
crazy. I hated that I missed that time, but I think it's just getting crazy now with the portal because so many guys are transferring. I remember when I transferred, it was like 370 people were in the portal, and they were like, "That's the largest transfers that college ever had." Now it's like two, 3,000 people are transferring. So it's like crazy. And then guys are just transferring because they're not playing and going to other schools. So I think it just goes to young kids. They need to, I mean, understand each situation is different. Some coaches really aren't for players, but I think you have to take your process of what school you're going to go to more serious because you don't want to be out here transferring. Some guys are playing, at four different schools by the end of their career, so you don't want to be that guy. You want to find you a place that you can go and get better each year, even if you don't play your first year.
Okay, okay. So with that, during the time that you had to sit out, how was that like? Because were you able to get a different perspective because you were playing basketball for such a long time, and then just to have to take a year off, not because of injury, but just because you transfer? Like, how was
Mhm.
your mental health? How was that process like of not being able to play?
I think mentally it was tough for me for like the first, I would probably say the first 4 or 5 months doing it. It was tough mentally because, I'm practicing, I'm going out there, I can help the team, right now. It's just everybody's like next year is going to be the year. Next year, this team's going to be good because we have these guys coming in. So it was tough, and then I got hurt. Also, I partially tore my MCL, so I was out for 8 weeks.
Mm.
So I couldn't do anything for the first month when I was hurt. So it was just a lot going on. And, I think one thing that I learned about myself in those moments was, how much I enjoy some parts of school. I don't like all of school, but, I started to, be more in study hall, doing more different things in school, participating more. And, I really just started to enjoy it. And it gave me a different view of the game. I felt like I got a lot better just watching the game, watching other teams with how they're playing and then watching us and seeing how I can help the team next year and just getting a feel for the team. And so I know what to expect coming in when it's time for me to play.
Okay, okay. So my next question is, what did you get your degree in?
So my degree is in sociology. It's called Sociology of Criminal Justice. It's funny, I'm the only one in my school that has that type of major. So it's pretty cool and interesting how I got it. I changed my major like 7 times. So I really never knew what I wanted to do. But I think when I got to school and they just kind of asked me what I wanted to do, I told them, I kind of want to get into criminal justice, but I want to do a little bit more of it. But also like sociology, and so they just kind of looked at the material, the classes that they provide, and they kind of put together a degree plan for me to be able to, get a sociology of criminal justice. So, I was taking sociology classes, but I also was taking like criminal justice classes, taking basic law classes. And I took one of my favorite classes was a deviance class, talking about, different types of people in the world and what is a deviant and what types of things are deviants. And, that class was very interesting to me. And taking like society classes about the world and different parts of the world and breaking stuff like that down. So it was very interesting. I was glad I was able to finally pick a major and stick with it.
So with that, do you feel like that degrees helps you being that you are 6 years professional and you've been able to travel all across the world and you kind of already had an interest in sociology as well, like an interest in people? Do you feel like that kind of helped you in some sort of way?
Oh, I definitely think that helped me because it's the stuff I was studying. You're learning about different types of people, and you're learning about people in different worlds, and the geography of these places that I visited. I got to learn about some of them before I even played there, so I think that definitely helped, and it's very interesting to see because it gives you a different light of people. Even with my teammates, it kind of can help me understand them. Guys like when I was playing in China, they might not speak English, but we're speaking the same language through each other. We're not even speaking the same language. So I think it helped me a lot and it's very interesting.
Okay, okay. So my next question is, after draft night, you said you had a good experience. It was like really good. How did you get to your steps of playing actually in your first professional game?
So yeah, it was a tough experience for me, after the draft. I went and played summer league with the Kings. They really liked me a lot. So I had a chance to get a roster spot or get a two-way. But I got hurt. I tore my hamstring pretty bad. I could barely walk for the first couple of days, and the games were coming up. So I ended up getting to hobble my way through the last game and at least play one game. But opportunity arose for me with that to have a chance to go play in South Korea. Um, a team was very interested in me from the beginning. They knew I had some NBA interest that I might go to the NBA. But I had seven training camp invites with different NBA teams. But for me, the like I was telling you, the journey was always going to play college basketball. So I feel like I fulfilled my dream that I want to do. The NBA would have been nice, but also I had my wife and my kid at the time, so it was a chance for me. Do I want to fight to make my NBA dream happy, or do I want to take care of my family and make money, and where they don't have to worry about anything, and more, it's just more stress free. It's not so much of a business trying to get in the NBA, grinding each year, just more having fun with it. And I always think about that decision I made, and I think that was the best decision. Just coming overseas, seeing the world, letting my family see the world, and go play in these different countries and actually have fun with it.
Okay, that's good.
Hmm.
I like that answer. So, how was South Korea? Because that's a full 360.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was so nervous. I was so nervous to go out there. I didn't know what to expect. It's my first time ever being out the country, and at that, I'm going to South Korea. So I didn't know what to expect, and I got there, the first month, I'm like, yeah, I don't like this. I don't think I made the right decision. The food is not good, but I started to figure it out. And now, I think about all the places I've been, and that's been my favorite place by far. And, being in Seoul, Korea, meeting these different people, South Korean people, they're so nice. They're so interested in, Americans, and, they don't speak English, but they're trying to come up and talk to you using their phone to translate, just asking you questions. So, I've always enjoyed that time when I was there.
So then, after that, well, how many places have you played? 6 years professionally.
So I think eight. I think I played eight different countries. I played in South Korea, Lebanon, Israel, Greece, um, Turkey, Lithuania, and China. So seven.
Okay, I would ask, how was what did you say? You said Lithuania. How was Lithuania?
Hmm. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I played here last year, a full season, and then I played half a season this year in China, and then I switched teams and came back to my team. I was in Lithuania, but it's I got mixed feelings about it. It's a good place. It's just very cold. It's dark all the time. It's kind of depressing on some days because you don't see the sun for so long. I think yesterday was the first day I saw the sun in like probably 2 or 3 weeks.
What
So
the
it gets I know it gets dark at like 4:30 every day, and the snow's starting to go away a little bit, but the first I think 6 days I was here, it snowed every day for like 5 6 hours. So it's once you get past that part, it's actually not bad. Like the city's beautiful. They have nice agriculture here, and like they have this place called Old Town, and they kept it exactly how it was back you know in a long time ago. I think it was like 1800, 1700, something like that. But they kept it like that. So, it has that old European look, and the food's amazing here. The people are amazing here. I think I found myself in a good situation. I never would have thought that I would enjoy, Lithuania and want to come back and play here again.
And how was Israel? Because that's different.
Yeah, that one was a huge adjustment too, because it's in the Middle East. You're surrounded by countries
Hmm.
that are trying to go at war with each other. You know what's going on right now. but the countries around are trying to go at war with Israel. So it's like weird because the place we were in, it's like protected by this dome. It's called the Iron Dome. So
Okay.
these countries around it are sending missiles every day at the Israeli people, and like the Iron Dome just deflects all these missiles. So you may wake up one day and you'll get a notification like there was 15 bombs shot at Tel Aviv today, and you're just like, dang, that's crazy. And I just slept through it all. You just would never know. But besides all that, it's a beautiful country, like very beautiful. The weather's always good. We were going to the beach almost every day, just hanging out. They got restaurants on the beach, and it's definitely a nice place. The traffic is crazy though, but besides that, it's a nice place.
What would you relate the traffic to? Like traffic in like New York or like worse than that?
I would say it's like New York, I would say, because it's such a small country. So from where I lived from where I lived at and to the beach without any traffic, I get there in like 10 minutes. But, with traffic, it may take 45 minutes to an hour and 20 minutes just to get where I'm at. And it's just standstill traffic because everybody's trying to get to the city. So, like, anytime, like during the work times when people are getting off or going to work, there's always traffic. Just some days, if you catch it early enough, you won't get any traffic. Or if you're out late enough, you can get back with no traffic.
Okay, so I interviewed somebody else that play overseas, and I learned that you guys can like ask for certain stuff in your contract, like a car or something. Like, do you put that
hmm
in your contract when you sign them? I thought that was really cool. I don't know why, but I was like,
Yeah,
oh, cool.
you can put a lot of things in there. Like, you get a car. For me, I put in my contract, make sure I get health insurance for me and my family, not just me, but have it for my family too, just in case anything happened. When I was in China, uh, I have to fly first class everywhere, or if we go on a train, only first class. You could put almost anything like in it. Mine comes with like my apartment has to have Wi-Fi, a microwave, dishwasher, certain stuff. Like you have to break down everything because they'll try to be cheap and try not to give you stuff like some teams won't try to pay for apartments and give you a small budget apartment. So you just got to watch these teams out here.
So with that, did you have to learn that through experience, or was your agent like already on it? Like, you need to
My a-
ask.
my agent is usually he's always on it. I've only had two agents my whole career. I had my first agent for a year and a half. Then I've switched to the agent I have now, and I've had him my whole career, the rest of my career after that. And he makes sure I have everything right in my contract. Make sure like flights, like make sure my family has flights that the team pays for them to come out. Sometimes in contracts they might say you only get a one bedroom apartment. He makes sure I get a three-bedroom apartment and just stuff like that. Like he's already on it. Like when he sends me the contract, he's like you can just sign the contract. I got everything taken care of. So it's good to have that relationship with your agent, somebody that you can trust.
So, what's your advice for people for finding agent for people that's watching, younger people that's wanting to play overseas? Like, how do you know who is a good agent for you and what works for you? Because you said you have two, but some people go through multiple.
I have some friends that's gone through a lot of agents, so yeah, I know. But I think for me, you gotta know what you want in an agent because these agents out here, they get paid just to put you at certain places. So, some agents have connections at certain teams, and they're just gonna put you on that team just because they know the general manager or the coach, but that team might not be a good fit for you. And some agents, you will sign the contract in the summer. You might not hear from them again until when it's time to get a new contract. So, I tell everybody to go with, what's, your preference, not just because, oh, this player, this agent has this amount of players and they're going to doing this and this and that. You have to go with what's right for you. I know for me, I like a more personal agent. I like my agent to be the bad guy. That's what he always tells me. Like, I'll be the bad guy. So when things are going wrong, I can call him and he'll handle it. And, if the team wants to be mad, they'll be mad at him. I've had agents that I've interviewed, and they're like, I don't deal with, family situations, or if your apartment, needs something, or he's like, I don't deal with that. He's like, I'm gonna get you your money and make sure you get paid on time, and that's it. So, some people like that. Some people don't want to deal with their agent, just get them their money and be good. But for me, I like that personal relationship. Like my agent, I always see him one time a summer. He comes and, sees me. He talks to my kids. He messages my he messages my wife on Instagram and messages and stuff like that. So, it's always good to have that relationship, and, just don't I think where I messed up my first time was I just went with my agent because he wanted to throw me a lot of money. He's like, "Here, I give you this amount of money if you sign with me." So, at the time being a broke college student, that sounded good, but it ended up not being the best for me, and which is why I had to switch agents.
Okay. Well, that's good to know for everybody out there. He just gave you a free
Mhm.
game. Free
Yeah,
game.
I'm telling you. You don't want to be that guy that's always switching agents. It gets too stressful.
Yeah. So being this far in your career, um, what is some advice that you have people overall about their basketball journey and your experience? Like, what would you tell somebody? Like, what would you tell your younger self?
Too, I would tell them, just enjoy the process. Don't ever try to rush or think you need to be somewhere. Wherever you are at that time, that's exactly where you need to be. Um, because you just got to stay patient. You can't watch what's going on left or right. You got to watch what's going on in the middle, because you can only control yourself. So, just always make sure you're focused on what you want to do in your career, not what somebody else is doing. I think for me, being at a young age, I was too much worried about, what's going to happen in the future. And now I'm sitting back. I'm in my six year. I'm 28 years old now. Like, I always remember those days in college. Like, I remember those days playing at Kansas State. I remember playing at Creighton. Those were the good days, where you had less worries like you do now. Like, you're at a place where people love you. They really appreciate you. You're not here overseas because it's a business at the end of the day, what you're doing. Some of these general managers or presidents of teams or coaches, they're just looking at you as an object, and how can you help me win and get me what I need so they can get paid. And as soon as they don't like something or don't think you're good enough for them, they're ready to push you to the curb. And then that's when you got to figure out, what's the next move for you. So just stay in the moment, stay present, and enjoy this stress-free basketball, because playing professional is definitely like a business, and I learned it's more of a job than playing basketball sometimes.
Okay. And now for my last question, what does Marcus want to leave his impact on the game of basketball? Like, what impact do you want to have overall to leave for people to know you for with basketball?
For me, it's always passion. Passion. You can see that I love this game. The way I play, how I'm always yelling after and ones, or I'm yelling after I dunk, stuff like that, or I'm talking to the crowd. I think that's what, reason why where I'm at right now. The fans love me here so much, and I'm a pretty popular player here is because of how I play. Like, they see that passion that, I want to win, and I just, I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for the fans. So, that's something I always do every game. I got to play it like it's my last, because, I'm starting to learn, the older I'm get, the harder it is to play all these games. So I'm trying to enjoy, I'm trying to enjoy this experience before it's all over. And, just the way I score the ball, I think that's a good reputation I have right now. Everywhere I go, every country I play in, people are like, he can score the ball. That's what he does. He puts the ball in the basket. And so I always like to try to get that aspect and make sure I'm always on point anytime I'm playing, to, have some 30-point games here and there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, thank you for coming on and talking to me out of your busy schedule and in your darkness, like being dark all day and all the
Yeah.
craziness. Thank you for
Uh,
making time to come and talk to me.
nah, no problem. I appreciate you having me. This was fun.
For sure, for sure. So y'all make sure y'all tune in with what Marcus is doing because he's doing awesome stuff. I wanted to my other question is when you are done, would you be a coach? I wanted to ask people that.
I think that's something I want to do. I think I'm trying to figure out what level of coaching I want to do. I've always said I want to be a college coach, but I think the more and more I think about it, I don't think I want to be a part of that. So I think I kind of want to I want to help the youth a little bit more. So I'm thinking about maybe becoming a high school coach when I'm done and start there and then maybe if I want to go to college see that, but I definitely see myself at least trying coaching out after I'm done.
Yeah, because you have a lot of knowledge and information for sure. So
Yeah,
that'd be
I've been
good.
around the game. I've been around the game a long time. I've been through a lot of situations. So, and I love basketball. So all I do is watch and talk about basketball with my friends anyway. So might as well try
Yeah,
this coaching thing out too.
yeah. Well, y'all that's watching this podcast, Marcus dropped some gems for overseas players. Just a lot of information and stuff for y'all to know. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Tune into what he has going on. A lot of good things going on. So appreciate you guys for watching. And once again, Marcus, thank you for coming on here and talking to me.
Thanks for having me.
See you later.
Bye. Thank you. That was fun.
Bye. Thank you. It was good talking to you.
Bye.